Hey, everybody, welcome to the Game Show Guy channel. Welcome to this episode. I'm Ryan, and I gotta tell you, I'm ready for this. You may have seen some of my other videos. You may have played some of the other games. You may be wondering, what game am I going to play next? You may ask yourself questions like, how tough is this going to be? To be honest with you, is this going to be complicated, or is this pretty easy to set up and play? I'm not here to scare you, but I will forewarn you. Are you ready for a challenge? If you're ready for a challenge, then get ready for this video and get ready for this game, because I'm telling you, I haven't even finished it. I just hit the record button right there, just hit it right there, and I'm thinking this is going to be my longest tutorial, because this is my most complicated complicated is not the right word. This is the most sophisticated game that I have created. This has the most moving pieces, if you would. But you're thinking, okay, I'm done. Why am I going to watch the rest of this thing? No. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. I did the work. I did the programming. You just need to play the game. You got to see how it works, and that's why you're here. So I'm excited that you're here. But get ready for it. Buckle yourselves in. Strap in, because, folks, we're ready to play ourselves. Wheel of Spin that wheel, Vanna. There's a sound effect. Fortune. I think there's a sound effect. I hope so. I'll put it in later. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, I'm Ryan, the Game Show Guy, and we got a treat today. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I have spent the spring and the summer of 2023, which is where I'm at now, developing this game. The game that, I got to be honest with you, I've been wanting to do for a long time. Wheel of Fortune's been on television forever. Still trying to be able to find a photo of it. My mother was on Wheel of Fortune when I was like in the 1970s. I was just a child, and we have no video of it, but she says there's some photos I remember seeing. So I got to try to find some photos. If I can find one by the time I produce this video, I'll throw it in there. But anyway, Wheel of Fortune's been around for a long time. I've wanted to produce this game. I've seen versions out there, but every time I see a version of Wheel of Fortune, it's not in a tool that I think that a lot of teachers can use. Virtually all of my games are PowerPoint or Google Slides, because I feel like that those are the tools that we have at our disposal. And so sometimes games are like, oh, this is the program you can install, or even if it's PowerPoint, you often hear about these things called macros, like, oh, this is an embedded virtual basic computer program that needs to run inside of it. And anytime any PowerPoint game has that, I'm instantly done. By the way, you'll see a lot of these games that will have they want to be able to keep score within the slide deck, and so that there's a place where you can do that using these things. I've never had any success with them. You get a lot of security warnings with them. It's more complicated than anyone has to do with. That's why for me, I've mentioned it in quite a few videos, that's called a whiteboard. That's where my scores are kept. There's no reason to be able to waste my space over here and to make things extra complicated. And I know what you're saying. Wait a second, Ryan, you said complicated, and this game is complicated. No. I said sophisticated. It is. So I have learned from a lot of folks in YouTube channels and other PowerPoint developers that are out there to be able to put this together. I have not run this. I have made a version that I'm going to show you, but I've actually not run this with my class yet. And I'm looking to try to be able to do this here in the fall of 2023 to be able to test out. And but I have run this with some other teachers and gotten their feedback, and I would like for you to be able to try it. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's try to experience that which is Wheel of Fortune. I think I already did the intro. Do it again, Vanna! With sound effect? No. Anyway, okay. So Wheel of Fortune. All right. Like all of my games, we got our sounds, our sights, our whatever. I have spent, again, I'd say it a bunch, but too much time on the sound effects, on the fonts, the backgrounds, and all that sort of stuff. I got to say it. Fortune. Yeah, so we got all the sounds and all that kind of stuff within there. You take the Classroom Edition, you put your own in there. Hey, it's 5th grade science, or it's To Kill a Mockingbird review, or whatever like that. All right, time for directions, everybody. As usual, 3 teams, almost all my games, so many of my games. Put them into 3 teams. One player from each team is going to be able to play. All right. And everybody, so we're going to see some differences here in terms of the gameplay because Um, I want more questions. This is a review game, like so many of them. So I've done a couple different adaptations, and here's the first one: is that everybody is just going to get one free spin. One free spin. Then, if they answer a question correctly, they get a second spin. Okay. And then after they get their spins, they can do their letters and do their guesses and all that sort of stuff. It seems a bit confusing, but I put this together kind of like the old shampoo commercials back in the day, right? When I had hair and I washed my hair with shampoo. People are like, why does he always wear a hat? Like, you probably know why. Anyway, so it was, it was the shampoo commercials, right? It was a shampoo, rinse, repeat. If you get confused, and there's a bunch, oh boy, like if you may be clicking out of here and looking at the slides and go, oh, there's a lot of slides in here, a lot of directions. But when in doubt, just remember this: kids answer a question, they spin the wheel, try the puzzle. Did they not get the puzzle correct? Do it again. Answer a question, spin the wheel, solve the puzzle. I don't know. Do it again, do it again, do it again until somebody solves the puzzle. There you go. That's simple. It's not simple, but anyway, it could be. Like a lot of my games, these are where the questions are all going to be hyperlinked from. And so let's say if I click on question number 7, it's going to jump me over to the question. You click anywhere on the board, it will automatically take you to the answer. And from there, now it's going to run. You can't get anywhere after this, except there's only one thing that works, and that's the Wheel of Fortune in the upper right-hand corner. I click on that, and folks, here comes the wheel itself. There's only 2 things that you can do on this. You have the blue triangle, and then you have the word puzzles in the upper right-hand corner. Hold off on the puzzles. The wheel is where we're going to be able to spin here. And if you can remember, the shampoo thing was answer a question. Did I answer that question correctly? Congratulations. Then I get to spin the wheel, and then I get to try to answer the puzzle. So I've answered the question correctly. Who was the first president of the United States? George Washington. Congratulations, Ryan. You get a spin. So spin that thing. Now spin. This has been animated, so when I click on the blue triangle, it is going to spin and do a sound effect. And there's the spinny sound effect. That spin sound effect is not on a loop. It will slowly, very slowly, you can hear it start to end. It is going to stop. When I want it to stop, I will hit the blue triangle, and it will stop on its own and stop the sound. Unfortunately, it doesn't do a slow end. It'll do a hard end on the sound and a hard end on the animation. But hey, it works. It's PowerPoint. It ain't perfect, but it's good. Okay. Hey, there's $300. All right, next person, give it a spin and spin the wheel. Spins again and stop it. There you go, $350. And the third person, they get a spin and they get, oh my goodness, bankrupt. Couldn't happen. I can't plan on it. You may think you can plan it, but you can't. It just spins too fast. If you saw my Price is Right game, I use the same concept in terms of the big wheel. It spins so quickly, you think you can, maybe I can get maybe I can't. No, I can't. So let me talk to you about how to stop the spinning. You have 3 choices, I think. One choice is, I will stop the spin. You just tell me when to stop. They'll say the word stop, and then you click it. Second option is you give them the mouse. Wireless mouses are really great. I advocate, I say these are fantastic. Give them the mouse and they can click stop. If you give them the mouse, they can do other stuff with it too. Oh, here's one of my favorite toys. There's several different clickers out here. Now, this isn't just your super low end clicker that you can be able to go next slide and has a laser pointer. What this does, this has I have the white button. This is the Logi Gold Presenter Pro, something like that. Spotlight is what it's called, the Logi Spotlight. And there's several of different ones that are out there. You need a remote that can also act as a mouse. So I have the white button here. The white button will just do next slide, next slide, next slide. The one below it will go backwards like normal clickers do. The button on top, if I click it and hold it, will act as a sort of an air mouse kind of a thing. So if I'm going to put, and you can't see it over there, but I'm going to use this little air mouse and put my hand right on top of the little clicky hand right on top of the blue triangle, then I can give the kids this, and I tell them, just click that top button and it'll start it, and click it again to stop it. Okay. Now, if they hit the white button, we have a problem, folks. But they have to click that one. So something to be able to think about if you want to give them control. What's great about games, and one of the reasons that I do a lot of these games, the whole classic Jeopardy thing, is that doesn't matter. We're going to get to all the questions, but they want to pick vocab for 400, or doesn't matter where they spin, but they want to be able to spin. I want to go on some games. I want to spin the giant wheel. I want to punch a bunch. I want to spin that wheel. You often hear on Wheel of Fortune, people say like, it's way heavier than you think it would be. I want to try it. So they're going to want to try it as well too. So anyway, that's a little bit of my 2 cents. Okay. So now once they've gotten their math, once they've gotten their money, then they're going to go to the puzzles, and the puzzles will look like this. There's different puzzles to pick from. You could do them in order or not. And I'm going to back up and explain all this a little bit more, but I just want to show you the general overview first. And I click on the puzzle, and then folks, here it is. You have the traditional Wheel of Fortune puzzle up here, but different is that I have these letters across the top, and your Vanna White down there in the corner, which is me. First off, you probably want to get rid of me. So I got a couple recommendations. I'm going to go to my very final tip. Go to the very last slide, basically. I'm going to check out this guy. I love adding my Bitmoji. You've seen him in all of my PowerPoint and Google Slide game templates. So put yourself in there. I think that's fantastic. It's a Google Slide, a Chrome extension to be able to add your Bitmoji. It's fantastic. And if you don't want to do that, why don't you get some of these other guys, right? Go get yourself Minnie or Mickey or the Minion person, and from there, you can be able to add them. So let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to go get SpongeBob and just get rid of Mr. Ryan O'Donnell here. You don't want me over there. So I'm just going to delete him and put me over there. And now look at that. It looks like SpongeBob is your sidekick on that sort of thing. Okay, got it. All right. So let me describe, show you. Here, this is, like I said, the most sophisticated game that I have been spending, to be honest with you, years wondering how I can be able to do this. And this is the answer that I came up with, like I said, with learning with a lot of others in this idea. So here's your walkthrough. You need to come up with what your puzzle is going to be. Okay. And how I'm going to be able to then do is I have to then drag these large letters and spell it out on the Wheel of Fortune puzzle. So let's say I'm going to be thinking about doing social studies, and I want to do the start of the Constitution, We the People. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I need to grab the letter W. So I'm going to grab a W. And if you notice, there's another W underneath it. These are stacks of lots of letters that you won't run out. Because I need to make sure that you have enough basically tiles to spell it out. So now I'm going to go W. I'm going to go get the letter E and put that over here and try to be able to match it up on the same height and all that sort of stuff. Then I'm going to do a space. Now I'm going to do a T for the. Now, how do I grab it? If I just grab in the middle, by the way, these are text boxes. I don't want, and I can't like grab. I can type over it, and you're not going to want to do like, what? I changed it to the letter 2. So you don't want to click inside the box. You want to click the box itself, and it may take you a little bit to get used to it. So click on the box, basically the outside of it. Then you can drag it around. So we, then a T, H, E, the. I'm probably not going to fit it on one line, so now I need to be able to go to the next line. P, E, O, P, L, E. You may think, well, I don't want to do all the P's first and then fill in it. No, I just recommend spelling the thing like that. We the People. All right. Now, if I put this into slideshow, let me show you what it looks like. There's nothing there. This is this complicated animation piece that's, if I may explain the sophisticated, this is the part that took a lot. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the Penn and Teller behind the magic. In order to make those letters show up, I had to build an animation that say, if I say I want the letter W to appear, I link that to these letters up here across the top. So if you click a letter, this W, then make all these letter W's appear automatically. They are disappeared. They're not anywhere. Right now they're off. All these large ones are off the grid. They won't show up no matter what. But none of them will show up at all because they've all been animated to this, what's called a trigger. The small W will be the trigger to make all the W's appear. This letter P is the trigger to make all the P's appear. So I can go back in over to here. So if I hit the letter P, this is what I've already done. Those P's will then show up. Okay. I've added a sound to add it to make it kind of have that Wheel of Fortune thing, and then to help you out, help your players out, I've colored the little P so that the kids will know which ones have already been guessed. They do this in the game Wheel of Fortune, which drives me crazy. Sometimes a person will go, "Can I have a P?" And they go, "Oh, we already asked a P. You just weren't paying attention." They don't say that, but basically, you didn't pay attention. I've taken that away from you. So if you've done a letter, let's say I'm going to go G, the sound effect will come on, but nothing shows up because there is no G's in We the People. You following me? But I've highlighted it so the kid doesn't have to waste their next guess. So always tell them, keep a look at the letters across the top of what have already been guessed. All right, I'm going to go with W. Nice job. Any guesses of what this is so far? Now you can see the problem here is I have no idea how many there are. Are there any L's? There's an L there. What about a T? So you can see this is not like Jeopardy. We're missing a major component of that. Well, let me go back over here. That is where this comes up. On top of the puzzle, there is a white square. This is the thing that Vanna would touch and flip and rotate it, which is part of me. Although we love things digital, I sure liked it when she actually turned the letters themselves. But that's changed, people. Anyway, so on here I have plenty of these. They're just layered. There's many of them. Oh boy, they just keep going and going. So in order for you to be able to make this work, now you just, once I've got my phrase, We the People, I need to just simply cover this up with these guys here. All right. When I drag this, you can see the W doesn't, the placeholder doesn't show. It actually is going behind it, and that's important. So you may think like I didn't put it anywhere, but I'm actually putting it on there. W like this, putting it behind the letters because these things need to show up beforehand. I'm just spelling it again, basically doing the same thing. For those of you who know how to get really intricate, you could either zoom in or there's techniques where you can be able to align them all to the top so that they're all perfectly fine. Kind of a thing like that. So now basically I've put in the same number of white tiles behind all of them. So now when we do this, folks, we start the puzzle. There's my blank tiles. And if I hit the letter W, watch what happens. The W shows up. I hit the letter P. Now this looks like more like the thing. See, it's very essential that you have those white puzzles, the white rectangles on there. Okay, T, H, L, and we're ready to go except for the vowels, and I'll get to that in a little bit later. Got it? There's two ways you can do these puzzles. You can do that. If I was going to do We the People or, whatever I'm going to spell, I could do this first. I could do W, E, space, T, H, E, We the, and then afterwards, then go through here, do it that way. Your choice if you want to be able to space them out ahead of time with the white rectangles. But just remember, the white rectangles are behind already. They just need to be able to do that. So just don't change anything, but just whatever order that you want to be able to put them in. And that's how you'll be able to create your puzzles on there. Underneath where it says the description of the puzzle, you want to give a little hint. You could do US saying or phrase. Identity phrase or something like that. Okay, important or something like that. Okay, that's how you ultimately create your puzzles. How to be able to create your questions. You just go to all your questions and you just go here, which is the what I like in all caps, your choice. What are the three branches of the federal government? Doing this if it was, let's say, a U.S. history class kind of thing. I do, executive, judicial, legislative kind of thing, and you put your questions in there. So that's how you be able to make the game. But now look at here for the puzzles. These are the puzzles that you can ultimately have. I have 12 of them. You don't necessarily need to make all 12. Okay, so here's the directions. This part where it's going to get a little bit of sophisticated was the word I used before. The students are going to need to be able to keep track. It's much easier for them to be able to keep track. Like I've said so many times, having the whiteboard is super helpful. So this is where normally they're going to be able to write down their questions. This is not a race-based race game in which that is the first one to do it. So you're going to give them a question. Hey, who was the first president of the United States? And they're going to write George Washington. Show me your boards. 1, 2, 3. Show their boards. But for this one, I want them to be able to We got to keep track of some stuff. So by looking at, you can see here the little screenshot that I have is we need to keep track of when they spun the wheel, what number did they, how much money did they get? Okay. So did they land on a 400? Did they land on 150 or whatever it's going to be? So they need to put that down. What is the spin that they got in terms of the dollar amount? Second thing is they need to keep track of how many times they got the letter correct. So if they're going to go, we're going to do the We the People. They're going to say P. How many P's up there? And you're like, there's 2 P's. So then they're going to write the number 2 down. So let me show you what it looks like here. Instead of doing it with a pen, not a bad idea to just take some painter's tape and to be able to do it for them ahead of time. So I've just done this here. So I spun the wheel and it's 150. I only got 1 spin. I got the question wrong, but everybody gets at least 1 spin. So it doesn't matter. Okay. If they get the question correctly, they get 2 spins so they can try to be able to boost the amount on their second spin. So let's say the highest that I got was 150. All right. So then it's my turn to be able to guess. I'm going to go to the letter P. And what is it, Vanna? Vanna says there's 2 P's. So I'm going to put the number 2 right down like that. Okay. And that gives me a grand total of 300. Okay. Then it goes to the next particular person, kind of a thing, so forth. Once that's done, that number right there is I'm going to have somebody on the main whiteboard keeping track of all of these scores. Okay. So it's going to be, I don't want it super complicated for the person, my main scorekeeper, keeping track of it so we can get it, so we can just have it over here. Got it? So, the reason we have multiple spins is to give people those opportunities to be able to, hey, you got the question correctly. I can spin again, and I get to be able to use I combine those two. So let's say if I spun a 300 and then I got the question correctly and then I got a 150. So my new amount is the combined of that 450. There's some math involved in here, but this is all designed to reward you for getting the question correctly. Okay. 2 spins, add those 2 parts together, except of course, if some of these things happen, what happens if it's bankrupt or lose a turn? And like it says here too, if it lands on bankrupt, then your money loses all that they have in there, but they're not going to lose their turn. So if they won 2 spins, the first spin they went bankrupt, so that's fine. They can spin again. Okay. If they do go bankrupt, I'm not bankrupting all of their previous ones. It's only this particular person who's up there and playing. If it lands on lose a turn, they get to keep their money, but they won't get to be able to spin and so forth. And they or take a guess at the puzzle. Okay, so basically, it's these 3 people are going to play. They're going to spin, make their guesses, and go from there. A couple other things to take note of. In the original game, on the television game, it's only about guessing consonants. And so there's always here the talk about buying a vowel. This is your choice of what you can be able to do. You can play it like the television game, that if somebody needs a vowel, they can purchase it and the points are taken away from them. If you just want to be able to have all the letters be treated as the same, you can. And so that way, they may go, because the vowels will have a better possibility. So the kids will probably go with the vowels first, E, A, that kind of stuff. And that could all add to it. That's a way to be able to help with scores. Your choice to be able to do it, either take away or they can add to it one way or another. Who goes first? You can just do a normal sort of a guessing round to be able to do that one. And then as soon as the first person guesses correctly, then you can just be able to go rotating from there. So you just don't always want to be able to have the team, let's say on the left, go first for every single time going around. You should have a new guesser so it can kind of go from there. All right. Some additional notes here. First off, what about the puzzles themselves? You could do 2 things. You could be able to make the puzzles connected to your content. Okay. So let's say if I'm a science teacher, I could make it the scientific method, and my hint would be process, kind of a thing. Or if you don't want to do that, you could be able to make them just general stuff. Let them know ahead of time that this is something based on your content, or if it's if it's just pop culture, or it could be stuff about our school, something like that, right? But let them know generally what they're kind of be able to do, so they have the right mindset in terms of what they're guessing. You may struggle in terms of, if I just want to be able to do some other puzzles. I love the internet. If you click on that link right there, that's going to take you to every puzzle from the Wheel of Fortune game that has ever been done. So if you could be able to see a lot of them that are out there. And it'll be interesting for you. I had, like I said, I shared this. I've not played with my students. I've had some of the other teachers play with it. It's kind of tough because as you make the puzzles, it seems like I feel that they should be getting them easier, but it does take a while to get it going. I've been noticing, I've been watching a Wheel of Fortune a whole bunch as I'm creating this, and I realized this is the game I'm the worst at. I'm terrible at this game. Give me Jeopardy any day or something like that, weakest link. But boy, it's a challenge. Sometimes you could be just staring at all the letters right there and I'm just not getting it. So that's why you want to help them with the descriptions or that mindset. This is about our content. This is not about our content, kind of a thing. Okay. What next? All right. Hey, here's a fun extension idea. It's try to be able to have some puzzles that are called toss-ups. And I mentioned this for a lot of my game shows, but if you're going to be playing it, watch them. Okay, you may have forgotten. Everybody goes, I know Wheel of Fortune. Watch a couple episodes to get used to it. Maybe have your kids watch it so they understand the dynamics, the game mechanics. I mean, of the game, about how it's done. And in the television game, they had these ones, the toss-up puzzles. For me, I find these more interesting. It's not about the spin. These ones, the letters are just popping up, and so I like to try to be able to do this. I'm thinking that I would do this maybe every fourth puzzle. There's no questions. All right, the three students are just going to stand, and I slowly just plan on clicking some of the letters. These ones, it wouldn't be, you pick and choose, not at random. You can see here I recommend planning the progression. What would be a good plan? I want to go this one and that one and that one, kind of a thing. And then once somebody knows, I have them do their chime in. I got a side video on the YouTube channel about different ways to be able the kids can chime in. All right, so folks, and there you go. That's the game. It may get a little complicated, confusing about the spin, the question, spin, and then guess. But practice and play with this sort of a thing. Feel free to modify this, and it's changed as always. Like I said, I'd probably put this in a beta phase. Yeah, that it has been. I haven't played it myself. Looking forward to playing with it. I'm assuming there's probably going to be some bugs in there, but would love to be able to hear some feedback on this thing. It's Wheel of Fortune, folks. It's been around forever, and I hope that you can find it a staple in your classroom. Good luck. Spin those wheels, everybody. This has been Wheel of Fortune, and I am Ryan the Game Show Guy.